Hello, my name is Sabiha. I have graduated from VIPS with College of IPU. Then I did my Masters in Development Communication from Jamia Millia Islamia. So the topic of my presentation is public relation, understanding public relations. So I will start with the history a bit and then I will go to the meaning. So basically public relations was the term which was used by US President Thomas Jefferson in the year 1807. He was addressing a US conference, it was a Congress conference, there he used this term first time, the public relations. So earlier it was more used to spread awareness and spread ideas like to in theatrical performances या फिर service वगैरह को वो promote करने के लिए ये term use करते थे. Now it has more meaning added to it. तो अगर हम सिंपली एक बिल्कुल ग्रास रूट एग्जाम्पल लें तो हम ये कह सकते हैं कि जैसे अगर हम वी आर गोइंग थ्रू अ रोड और समथिंग तो हम वहाँ पे देखते हैं कि कोई डायरेक्शन का बोर्ड लगा हुआ है तो वो एक तरीके से हमें डायरेक्शन देता है कि हमें किस तरफ जाना है. हम अपना डेस्टिनेशन सोचते हैं और उसके अकॉर्डिंग हम जाते हैं. तो दिस इज अ वेरी ग्रास रूट थिंग जिससे हम पब्लिक रिलेशन समझ सकते हैं. सो पीआर जो एक टर्म है वो तरीका है कि आप क्या कर रहे हैं, व्हाट एग्जैक्टली यू डू और किस तरीके से कर रहे हैं, हाउ डू यू डू एंड व्हाट अदर्स से अबाउट यू. यानी कि कोई तीसरा जो बंदा है वो आपके बारे में क्या कह रहा है अबाउट योर प्रोडक्ट और सर्विस और एनी अदर आइडिया. ठीक है, तो दीज आर द डेफिनेशंस व्हिच आर गिवन बाय डिफरेंट स्कॉलर्स, अमेरिकन स्कॉलर्स. सो फर्स्ट इज बाय एडवर्ड बर्निस. ही इज आल्सो नोन एज द फादर ऑफ पीआर. So it is a management function which tabulates public attitudes, defines the policies. यानी कि एक ऐसा प्रोसेस है पब्लिक रिलेशन जिसमें हम देखते हैं कि जो पब्लिक है उनका एटीट्यूड कैसा है, यानी कि वो किस तरफ उनका रुझान है, उनकी क्या सोच है एंड देयर ओपिनियन अबाउट थिंग्स.
Savia, I would like to introduce. Sure, sir. You consider the entire class as a group of people who do not know Hindi.
Okay.
Okay. So now it's.
Alright. So it is basically PR tabulates the public attitudes, what people think about your organization or your product or other things. So it defines the policies of your organization that you are associated to. ठीक है, alright, and then procedures and interest of an organization. For example, if you are associated with an organization who sells, let's say, a soap, then what will you do? You will follow what that company tells you to do, what are the procedures and policies they follow, and then you will accordingly you will plan your PR plan, and then you will evaluate also what people think about your things and what they want from you. That is public attitudes and opinions. So this definition was given by Edward Bernays. Then second is PR is a planned effort to influence public opinion. That means that in PR what you actually do, you influence people about your product or your services or idea to influence their opinion so that they accept you and they understand what you want exactly to do with that. Influence opinion through good character and responsible performance based upon mutual satisfactory two-way communication. This term two-way is very important in PR because in advertising or in any other thing, what we do exactly, we spread out the product and services, and we pretend that people will come and buy your product. But in PR, it is a two-way process. It means that you will tell them what is good for them, and you will wait for them to accept you, and then buy your product. So and for that you take feedbacks and everything for that, so that you have an idea that what people are thinking about you, what public is basically are thinking about you. So it is an art and science because you use creativity as well as the facts and everything in it. So it is a art and science of managing communication between an organization and its key constituents. It means that of course you will follow the things that organization says, but also you will keep it in mind that what are the key constituents, like the dealers or the investors, that is your internal public, or even the external public also, the media and target audience.
Okay, Sabir. Now there are a few questions.
Yes, sir.
How do you correlate PR with communication? One, how do you correlate it with advertising? And what is the role of PR in marketing?
In marketing, okay. First is that you said what is communication. How does it relate to communication? So in PR, what you actually do, you maintain relations with the public. Public can be your investors or suppliers, anyone, but you actually maintain relation. And how will you maintain a relationship? Obviously by communicating with them to know what they want from you and what you can give to them. So that way communication is very important for that. Okay, and a second question was sorry.
How is it related with advertising?
Advertising.
Yes.
It is, you cannot say that it is actually related, but it is a part of advertising, you can say, because before doing advertising you have to maintain a relationship between the public, so that you can be ensure yourself that yes, I will go and market my product in that particular area, and that person will or the target audience will come and buy that product. So for that you will need PR. So it is a process before doing advertising. So it comes under marketing, but it is a starting process where you are launching your product or your service or idea.
How propaganda is different from public relations?
Propaganda is first of all, propaganda is not based facts. It is like one-sided information. For example, this ban on alcohol type of thing. What we do in propaganda, we just create an agenda and promote it like that with giving just one side.
Recent example of propaganda?
Propaganda ban cow meat, I think, because there you are not giving true facts of what kind of people are actually intaking that. You are just giving one-sided information that a certain community is not accepting it, or they don't think it is moral, so we should ban cow meat. So it is a propaganda. It is not a news. It is not based on the facts. It is just a propaganda that we are propagating.
Created by whom?
Created by anyone.
It is particular.
How can I say? There is no source of any propaganda.
Good morning, everyone, dear respected sir and dear respected ma'am and all of fellow. So today I want to tell you about the tourism as in general overview. What would we think about the tourism and what are the technical terms of tourism? And before this, I want to introduce myself Keshav Kumar, and I am postgraduate in tourism, and also recently national eligibility test in tourism qualified. So first we will start about the tourism in a general way. What we think about the tourism when it's arrive in our mind? So in general perception, in layman, tourism means go out with the family, friends for fun and something. So after this presentation, what we will get through this presentation, there are some objectives. Mean and definition of tourism. What is the tourism actually, and what is the technical definition of tourism by the tourism associations. Second, why the tourism is important for people. What are the needs of tourism, and types of tourism and emerging trends of tourism, and evaluation of tourism through the phases of human development. So these are the some objectives through these slides we will gain. So first, what is the tourism? In a layman's perception, tourism just go out with the family, friends for leisure and pleasure and these things. So why it is needed? They are the some pull and push factors of tourism. Pull factors are these which are responsible to go out, and some pull factors which are drawn by the attraction or the monument or the some destination, where some attraction which really attracts us to go there. So these are the things. So what are the things responsible for tourism? First is the disposal income. Disposal income means our savings after our routine expenses. There are house rent, food, and our education, children's education, the remaining amount. This is a disposal income. If a person has a more disposal income, so he want to expand also. Second, the monotonous routine. People like the industries and today's corporate area. This is a monotonous routine. We get up early and come to the office and back to the home. So this is a regular routine.
Okay, sir, I would like to interfere here.
Yes, sir.
What are the steps which have been taken by Government of India to promote Indian tourism?
Yes. By the Government of India, there are so many campaigns. One of these is the Incredible India Atul Bharat. This is the most famous campaign by the Government of India, and there are 32 more offices abroad by the Government of India to market and to promote the Indian destinations, and other certain campaigns also by the state governments, and so many campaigns, but this is a main Incredible India Atul Bharat.
Any other example?
By the Indian government, mostly the Atul Bharat, maybe, but I am confining my knowledge about the Atul Bharat.
Atulya Bharat is a campaign.
Yes.
Do you have any knowledge of any policy which sir is asking?
Policies, the National Tourism Policy 1982. So there are some certain clauses to develop the destination, to promote the destination, and the development of the infrastructure. So this is the policy, and also it is revised something the 90 or 91. So this is the policy by the government India.
Okay, sir, thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. I am Hera Khan. I did my graduation in English from Jamia Millia Islamia, and then I've done my mass communication, post-graduation in mass communication from AJK Mass Communication Research Center, Jamia Millia Islamia. Today I'm going to talk about the dawn of the digital age. It is a very intriguing term that has been, fascinating people across the world because of the increasing number of movies and increasing number of photography that we see, and the different techniques that are developing every other day in our world. So before I talk about the digital, I would like to go back a little to the history of photography, where it all begins. I mean, the entire invention begins from photography. So I first talk about the evolution of photography. The first ever photograph captured was by Niepce, and in 1826, and repeatedly, which was called heliograph, experimented on a metal slide. Then it came to daguerreotypes, and people have been collaborating, experimenting, and trying to figure out new ways and methods with which it could lessen the duration of the photography, capturing the image, and how to improve the image quality, the technique. So daguerreotypes, calotypes, the emulsion changes, and people start experimenting with. It all goes from the metal to glass to celluloid. Like the slides keep changing, and now in today's world we are reaching the digital age. So how we shift from the still photograph to the motion picture. First, a little I will talk about celluloid film and the digital sensor. The celluloid film, it's an emulsion plate where we have this the photocytes, which are the emulsion. Sorry, I'm late. Okay. The base. The first layer comes the emulsion, the base, and the anti-halide. The emulsion where the photograph is actually captured when the light photons are come in contact with the emulsion. It excites the photocytes there, and that is what it captures. The base supports the emulsion, and the anti-halide backing, it prevents the light from passing through the base and reflecting back, which would destroy the photograph. And the sensor is a modern tiny chip which captures loads and loads of photographs without any problematic procedure of looking through it, processing it, and the entire procedure shift from the dark room to the digital room, where we can completely have a very good access to the photography or the motion picture. So, and some of the CCD, some of the digital sensors that I talk about is the CCD and the CMOS. Next, I come to the from still to motion picture. In 1815, the first ever motion picture film was by Lumiere brothers, which they called Actualities, and it was such an intriguing fact that when they played it with the cranking projector, the crowd was completely baffled at the sight of the train coming towards them, where the sight of the train was progressing towards them, which was not actually the motion picture we see now, but a cranking projector that made the photographs move so quickly that it gave the impression of the train moving towards the crowd. And similarly, the Great Train Robbery and the Birth of the Nation have been very remarkable and the landmark of the cinema ever since the 19th century. So now, with the coming of the 20th century in 1980s and 1990s, we have this great debate coming about the digital taking over the photochemical celluloid. So there is a quote I've quoted one of them. All that was chemical and photographic is disappearing into the electronic and digital. David Rodwick says this. So what does he mean by that? The increasing number of people, in the increasing use of the digital medium rather than the photochemical medium, where it is completely, it involves a, it involves a huge amount of energy and techniques to develop in a long time, lot of cost, the photochemical celluloid that we say, the negatives that are processed. You have to click the photograph, develop the negatives, develop the positives, and then we finally get the image. And there are a lot of problems while shooting also, because you cannot view the image, you don't know how will the image come out after it has been processed. So you can only calculate and you can only decipher how it would look like when it comes out. So, but in the digital photography, it is highly portable. There's no need to change magazine like earlier. We need to load the magazine in the black bag, and you have to change the magazine every time the footage is over. So we are relieved of all those problems in the digital world right now. And with this comes also the debate of the new media, that how the new media, but the digital world is actually creating a sensation all around. It is a tapeless medium. High-end digital cinematography gives a brilliant quality that we can't even expect. It allows great scope of post-production. Like we all know that digital, after the digital shoot, we have so much of scope to alter, manipulate, and completely change the image that we have actually clicked, and which is really surprising and quite an unexpected phenomena that we can see that has been coming across the age in our contemporary world. But in the celluloid, the greatest problem is that even if you want to achieve that age, the entire the workflow, the digital workflow, if you want to achieve that, you need to use another machine, which is a telecine transfer. You transfer the film to the digital into the video system, so that you can use it for the digital workflow, because you cannot use the film directly for the CGIs and the post-production, whatever we use, like the color correction and animations and other things.
Can you move to
I would like to
concluding part?
Yeah, sir, I just take a few minutes. I just want to show a clip where the digital world first introduces the first digital arrival of the first digital film, which really created a great sensation across the world. I would just. This is the one of the. Sorry, I don't know if it's.
Excuse me. Has anybody ever seen a pod race?
They're pod racing on Malastare. Very fast, very dangerous.
I'm the only human who can do it.
You must have Jedi reflexes if you race pods. Don't do that again.
the character Jar Jar Binks in the Phantom Menace, the Star Wars series, and it is the first CGI character which is a lead character ever, which mingles with the live character, and you cannot, and it works so much like it's a part of the family. So you cannot differentiate if it's a CGI character. You start adapting your brain in a way that you start perceiving the character, the CGI as a character in the world which is never ever existed. So these are some of the formats and the digital camera that I've taken down. There are several digital techniques like the color correction, face replacement, morphism, splitting, photogrammetry. Another example of a great digital example I would give is, I would show you another clip.
High school hallway is a great example of an all-CG sequence. Everything in this scene was created digitally, including the characters and the environment, and as a result, it gives us lots of opportunities to do things that we normally couldn't do if we were working with pre-existing photography. The process begins by producing a digital version of the set that matches the photography and other sequences. With the digital set in place, the director works with the layout department to design the fight choreography with simple representations of the character models. This layout becomes the starting template for editorial, and from there, the animation team begins the process of executing believable performances with real weight and physics. The lizard is a massive creature with brute strength, while Spider-Man is light, quick, and agile. The physics of each character needs to be convincing, and we need to sell each of the relationships to gravity in a believable way. This kind of natural animation is tricky enough with one character, but combining two uniquely different characters in hand-to-hand combat is always a challenge. Not only are we dealing with the gross weight and physics, but fine details on a smaller scale as well. Notice the flexing muscles and the tendons under the skin. These volumes are manipulated by animators, then the skin is draped over that anatomy and treated as a simulated cloth material so that you can literally see the muscles flexing and sliding underneath. The effects team studied lots of reptile references in order to duplicate the material properties of real lizard skin. It had to be loose and leathery, with enough resolution to wrinkle and fold in natural ways as the creature moves. Simulations are applied to the internal anatomy as well as the skin so that the volumes respond to external forces as well. Notice how the volumes jiggle and resonate on impact, and the collisions need to affect the environment also. A lot of destruction that you see, like damage to these lockers, were modeled and animated for a specific look, along with the damage to the walls, door jambs, and other props, all of which ground the action in a believable way. Once we've fleshed the environment out with these high-resolution models, further details are brought out in the surface rendering. The posters and flyers are hand-painted, and ID photos of ImageWorks team members were substituted for the class portraits. Lighting played a key role in grounding this scene in reality and was artistically directed to support the story points, one of which is a power outage that gave us opportunities for dramatic lighting. A large window at the end of the hall became the daylight source to backlight the characters and provide bright highlights throughout the scene. And light coming through the classroom doors broke up the interior and became a source to highlight key moments. Even emergency lights were used to accent the action. Because the sequence is completely digital, entirely new shots and camera work could be made even at this late stage in production. As an example, the director can take a shot like this chase across the ceiling, and with animation already complete, is able to design more compelling camera work for a series of shots that supports the action in a much more interesting and dynamic way. Especially when coupled with effects details like dust, debris, sparks, and atmospheric activity. The final result puts audiences front and center in a dynamic balance between nuanced character animation and dramatic composition of light, color, modeling, and effects.
So we see how brilliantly we have, it's like a transcendence from the 19th century to the 20th century and in the 21st century now, where we don't even have to have the characters on the stage to shoot them. You can create it completely with the digital softwares and the digital techniques that are developing every day. We're talking of Avatar. If you see the Avatar by Cameron, it is a 60% CGI imagery and 40% live action. So we know how brilliantly it blurs the difference between the live characters and the CGI characters. You don't even know which one is the live one and which one. You forget the difference between the CGI and the live. It is like completely indistinguishable. So we cannot really decipher the extent of the human discoveries and the human inventions and how far and wide we can reach with respect to the techniques and the inventions that we have been discovering every other day.
Okay, thank you, Gira. We can have questions. Two questions. One, when we were moving from still photography to motion picture, there was a great invention called series of photography. Can you explain what is that? Series of photography. And second, when we are actually sending the data, digital data, from one place to another place, what is the biggest disadvantage in the age of digitalization?
Okay, I would first answer the second one because I'll forget. So the biggest disadvantage is that with the digital, when we are using it again and again, sending it from one software or one system to another and reusing the data, there's a generation loss, which is not in the case of the analog films. Because in analog films, you can make multiple copies without any loss in the quality or the without any loss in the quality of the image. While in the digital, every time you transfer it or every time you use an image, there are certain information, the picture information, which is lost because it keeps compressing the footage. So that is the great disadvantage. And also another disadvantage of digital is that you cannot archive it. If there is a little breakage in the disk or whichever device it is stored, you cannot recover it. But in the analog form, and also that now that you have the digital, whichever format you are using now in the digital, after a few years, there will be new technologies, and these digital formats will not be working on those formats. But in the analog thing, if the analog footage is stored, that is the best way to archive things, and it can be recovered in any age, whenever 100 years from now, if it is stored properly. Another thing, a series of photographs. Can you please repeat that question?
Series of photography. When we were moving from still photography to motion picture, the invention came a series of photography. What is that?
A series of photography, like there people have been photographing things. Even in India, when we see there were many the British photographers who were photographing people, the kings and the princes. So they were recording and keeping a record of all the different. They wanted to colonize the state and the countries.
Everyone, my name is Toba. I've done my post-graduation in development communication from Jamia Millia Islamia, and now I am working with the international organization ActionAid for fundraising. So to start, I have the topic of acting, but I have taken dialogue as the topic from acting. So assuming this my class, okay. So can someone tell me that what acting means? Any word for acting? Anyone? Anyone, please? So, what do you think of acting? What comes in your mind when I say dialogue? Sorry, what comes in your mind when I say dialogue? Dialogue is a sentence. Okay. Anyone else? No. Okay. So now let's see what a dialogue means. So, in a simple term, a dialogue is a conversation between two or more people. So, whenever we see any theatre, acting, or any plays, okay, so until unless there is two people talking, there cannot be a proper play. Obviously, two mute people cannot talk. So, it's just like that only. So, here we can see example also. Like, I'm pretty good. No, first they say that, hello, nice to meet you. Then they say, I'm nice to meet you too, and I'm fine, and all these things. So when you initiate dialogues, there is a scene prepared. Okay, everyone getting it? When we initiate dialogues, a scene is, we can imagine the scenes, and then the film or the act or theater, everything comes there. Okay, so now let's see what are the main characters of dialogue. So dialogue is a conversation with a purpose. Of course, when we converse with each other, we do for some purpose. All right? Yeah, everyone agree with this? Yeah. So dialogue is basically for a purpose, and then it's a civilized operation. Of course, we do in a very civilized manner, and when people don't do in civilized manner, we don't like to talk to them. Obviously, yeah. And then democratic and constructive act. So it's all constructive in my mind. Like after this, what I have to say, or after that, what I have to say, or if he's asking this question, what will I answer? All these things comes. So that comes in a constructive act. Okay, when we do theater, acting, plays, everything, then it's in a constructive manner. It's not a random speeches going on. Yeah, right? It's a very dull class, I suppose. Very dull. Okay, so now the next. Why is a dialogue required? So why we talk to each other? Why is a conversation required? So we can take like 3 things we can see in this. Like to present facts of own and consider facts of others. Yeah, basically we converse to exchange facts. Yeah, and then to seek understanding through alternatives. We need to understand each other, then only we can converse. Okay. Then to reach discussions. Of course, conversation takes place due to discussion, or discussion takes place due to conversation. So basically, when we reveal things and talk, discuss and listen, then they creates understanding. So while you are doing acting or you are in some play, you need to know that why are we doing this? Why audience want this? Yeah, what do audience want this? Okay. Then reasons why dialogues are important. Okay. Dialogue adds the illusion of reality. Illusion of reality. Everyone knows what reality is? No. Yes, obviously. So we need to see that what we have to do for creating reality. If someone is seeing your play, you need to know that if someone is seeing your play, they should have the sense. Oh, is this real? You need to create that conversation. You need to create that emotion touch. And emotion touch comes with dialogues. Okay. So real people have conversation, giving you characteristics, realistic conversation, an excellent way to create the appearance that your creations are living and breathing people. Okay. So if they're acting in front of you, that means that they are doing something which can be a reality also. So you need to converse, you need to have that type of dialogue which show the reality in you, the reality in your act. Dialogue reveals character. So there's an example, like if a person is worried, so you act like this, you form your words like this, that are you worried? Why do you say so? Yeah, you are gritting your teeth so they quit. Like there should be a sense of revealing of characters. If I'm saying like, oh, you look so beautiful, that means that the character is really beautiful. It sees from your dialogues. Okay. Now, dialogue reveals secrets. So these are just these are some examples from Hecklin, who has written this book on dialogues. So do you know deck the halls or something like I broke, or he broke the contact lenses or something like that. Okay. So you need to reveal the secrets from your dialogues. Okay. Now, dialogues reveals relationships. So why is dialogue important? So to reveal the relationship. If you're acting, so that means you're showing something. There's something going on. Okay. So have you no faith? Have you have no faith? Yes, I do. Or I got faith from him. Like these are just an examples of conversations. Okay. You can just read it also. Yeah. Then dialogue shows backstory. That when you are doing something on stage, then there are certain plays which have history also. So this can be revealed from your dialogues, right? Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Perfectly right.
And dialogue advances the story. So basically, when you are doing a play or something, so the story which the person is seeing your act, then he can relate to future also. Oh, इसके बाद ये होगा, इसके बाद वो होगा. अच्छा, उसने तो ऐसा बोला था इसलिए ये होगा. Got this? इसने ऐसा बोला था, इसका मतलब यही होगा आगे. So that means that reveals the future also. It reveals the story also in advance. Okay. Dialogues deepen conflict. So it's example. Indians took my daughter.
Sultana, I would like to interpret.
Okay.
How is it different from monologue?
So in monologue, in monologue, it's like we talk to ourselves that what I have done, I should not do this. This is wrong. I should not do this. Something like that, in which we are not interacting with the other person. We are just thinking of ourselves, and we are talking about ourselves within ourselves.
So in the case of dialogue, you always require two persons or more than two.
No, there are two types of dialogues. One is monologue and one is of course. In dialogues, we need to converse with other person. So if you're basically
When you are conversing with yourself,
it's
dialogue or monologue?
Monologue, obviously monologue. Yeah.
So dialogue is part of communication or is different from normal communication?
It's a part of communication because communication have interpersonal and intrapersonal communication form.
What is the role of emotion in dialogue?
Role of emotion. So I think when you want to convey something, then emotion is when you have emotional language in your dialogues, then it creates more of reality and relevance. Yeah.
Dialogue deepens the conflict or it resolves the conflict?
It can be in both ways. If you are using harsh words, then it might conflict a conversation, but you are using the normal words like with sympathetic words, then it might soften the conversation.
Okay, now you can conclude your session.
What to conclude? Yeah, I'm done with this. Thank you.